Between all the noise coming out of Washington, some good old economic data, well, sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. But you can't ignore this alarming report out this morning. New home sales plunging 9.4% in July, month over month. That is a 7-month low, flashing warning signs for the housing market. Let's bring in Brandywine Global Senior Research Analyst Sorin Roibu. Sorin, thanks for joining us. Look, we know that the supply of homes is thin. We know that because of that, the prices are going up, and now new home sales are taking a bit of a dip. Is this a sector that's in a little bit of trouble?
Hi, Ashley. Thanks for having me here. No, we think that we don't think one month makes a trend. We still have a positive outlook on the housing market. If you look back at in history, new home inventory is at multi-decade lows. The housing affordability remains attractive. It is true that the new home sales and the housing activity has been slower than expected, but we do see a positive outlook for housing market in the next years to come.
But Sorin, what I've been told is because of the lack of homes for sale and the prices are going higher, it's getting harder now for first-time home buyers to get on the bottom rung of the ladder and enable the people selling the home to move on up. In other words, the mobility within the housing sector is really getting jammed up because of that situation. Prices rising and first-time home buyers having a harder time getting in. Is that true?
That is true, and that's been one of the reasons why the improvement in the housing market has been slower than expected, primarily because the increased regulation on the banking side has made mortgage affordability more difficult for first-time home buyers. That is starting to improve a little bit. We've seen recently news out of Washington talking about improving affordability for the first-time home buyers. As regulation for the banks declines, we should see first-time home buyers gaining more access to credit, and hopefully that will unlock the first-time buyer housing market.
My question, Sorin, though, is why are people not selling homes? I mean, are people not as mobile as they used to be? I mean, the job market's improved. You'd think that, hey, it might be a good time to sell a house. Why aren't more homes up for sale?
Well, I think there's two main reasons for that. Number one, the inventory in the market is really low. So when people look around and they're looking to move and they don't find what they want, they more often than not decide not to move and maybe invest a little bit of money in improving their house. If you look at the home renovation index, that has been doing really well. Most people choose to renovate the house they live in versus move and upgrade. Also, there could be also a phenomenon of a gap, generational gap, where the millennials are not yet ready to step into the first time homes. They still like to rent. I expect that over the next few years we'll see the millennials, you know, get older, get married, and decide to maybe get a house on their own where they can raise a family.
What particular stocks do you like right now, Sorin? Did you have a couple of picks?
Sure. We are, in our fund, we're particularly interested in financials, the large cap banks, the alternative asset managers. On the bank side, Citigroup remains one of our favorite ideas. It's one of the cheapest banks in the universe. The management has done a great job restructuring the business, and most of the heavy lifting is behind them. So going forward, we're looking at the management to focus on growing earnings, growing the business, and paying out the significant excess capital they have on their balance sheet. With easing regulation, that should be easier to do. As you saw this year, they passed the CCAR and they were able to pay more than 100% of earnings.
Sorin Roibu, you have been tremendous. All sorts of information. We appreciate it.